You can see where the hole is drilled, so I can snake the wire that needs to be hooked up to this side of the wiring harness, which I'm showing here for the on-off button for the light bar. You can see I've secured that wire with the grabbing tool and I'm pulling it out. This is the wire that came from the cabin. These are the components, the light bar, and I'm going to try and protect with the flexible hosing the wiring that's going inside the engine compartment. I've got the nuts and bolts, the connectors. Here's for tapping into the fuse box inside the cabin. Some heat sink wire if I need to protect the wires, or heat shrink. And then here's the rest of the relay. I put connectors onto the light bar, and here's the wiring that's going to the relay. And this will be going, this wire here will be going to the positive terminal inside the engine compartment, and then this will be going to the ground for inside the engine compartment. Here's the relay with the fuse. Here's the light bar itself, and it's got a secure for securing it, and I'll show you where that goes. The light bar with the wiring harness and the hose protector, everything is put together, and now we're going to secure it to the front of the car. Light bar is going to get secured. I will try to jam it in there, and I also made some cuts to give it some space so it can be pushed back. Alright, this is an overview of the light bar installation in a Kia Niro 2017. You can see that I added some washers to elevate, and I used 1/4 inch bolts. Those are 2 inches with lock washer on the bottom, and I've routed the wire underneath because there is no way to get behind there easily. And I came up through the bottom, and you can see I've got it zip tied, and I've removed the cover of the fuse box in the engine compartment so you can see where I've tapped into with the wiring harness kit. I've secured it to the side, and there's also a ground wire that I drilled a hole into the interior side in the engine compartment so it's well grounded, and the wire is run up through. You can see that white wire. I drilled a hole inside the driver's side, and I will show you that shortly. As you can see, I put the fuse box cover back on. I zip tied the wire just so it wouldn't rattle or get near anything hot, and I've secured it here as well. Now you can see that I've drilled a hole, and there's silicone just to wire proof it. That's where I drilled the hole to get into the engine compartment, and that's the ground wire where I ground the wiring harness that is up in the fuse box inside the driver's side. As you can see, I like to zip tie things, so I zip tied that white wire that powers the switch so it's out of the way. That's where the light switch is, and it is tapped into the fuse that is for ignition on, and I will show you that shortly. If you look inside the fuse box, trying to give you the best possible view, it is the top right corner 25 amp fuse that is tapped into the ignition on off, and I will demonstrate that shortly, so that the light on the switch inside for the light bar does not actually stay on all the time. It only turns on when the ignition is on. Notice I powered the car on, and you can see that the switch is now on. Now it's green. The light is on, light bar, and we'll walk around and take a look. And you can see the light bar is on. Now when I power it off, you can see I'm powering off the car and it goes off. Perfect.